This tutorial will help you configure the Line 6 Helix to control a Powercab 112 and other equipment via MIDI. First, make the physical connection from the Helix MIDI out to the Powercab's MIDI in. To set the Powercab's MIDI channel, hold down the Home button to enter the menu. Turn the Select knob to scroll down to the MIDI channel. Choose a channel that's not being used by any other MIDI equipment in your rig. I chose 16 for mine. If you're going to connect other equipment, make sure MIDI through is set to on. MIDI PC receive should be set to on to allow the Powercab to respond to program change messages. MIDI PC send should probably be off. This is a very basic preset that uses a head on the Helix. I want this model to use the cream cabinet model on the Powercab. Before we get to that, however, we need to change some of the default MIDI settings on the Helix to work around a bug in the current version of Line 6's software that can cause the Powercab to crash if it sees MIDI clock. I'm using Helix 2.60.0 and Powercab 1.0.1. Press the menu button, the one with 3 horizontal lines. Press knob 6 to open global settings. Move the joystick to select MIDI tempo. Set Send MIDI clock to either off or USB. Press the page right button to see more options. Set MIDI PC send to off or USB. Press the Home button and we're done. To configure MIDI commands for the active preset, press the menu button. Press knob 3 to show the command center. The lightning bolts in the top row represent instant commands. Each of these are sent one at a time the instant a preset is loaded. First, we'll use them to change the currently selected model in the Powercab. Turn knob 1 to select Bank Program. Use knob 2 to set the MIDI channel to the one you specified on your Powercab. Finally, use knob 5 to set the program to the model you want to hear on your Powercab. I'm choosing 3 to select the cream model. Press the Save button twice to save over your preset. Keep in mind this will not set the Powercab back to the previous model when you leave this preset. If your other presets don't have instant commands configured, the Powercab will not change models when they're loaded. I'll make the next preset choose the flat model on the Powercab. Choose the menu button, choose Command Center, set one of the instant actions to Bank Program, set the MIDI channel of your Powercab, and this time set Program 0 to switch the Powercab to the flat model. Press Save twice to save this preset. Now, when you switch back and forth, the Powercab will load the specified model for each of them. You can also use the Helix to control other MIDI equipment. In my rig, I run a MIDI cable from the out-through jack on the Powercab back to a Strymon Timeline and Big Sky pedal that are connected to the Helix on FX Loop 1-2. Make sure that each piece of equipment is set to a different MIDI channel. My Timeline is set to MIDI channel 2 and my Big Sky is on MIDI channel 3. Also make sure that MIDI through is turned on for any device that needs to pass MIDI commands along to other equipment down the chain. I use instant commands to change the patch on the Timeline and Big Sky, just like I do for the Powercab. On the second instant command, configure a bank program on channel 2 for whichever patch you want. In this case, I'm choosing program 5, which corresponds to Timeline Bank 2B. Now I'll do the same for Big Sky on MIDI channel 3. I'm choosing program 0, which corresponds to Big Sky Bank 0A. Press Save twice so you don't lose your changes. Now when I switch to this patch on the Helix, the two outboard devices will load the desired patches. But loading a patch on the Strymon gear will not automatically disable bypass should it have been enabled. It is necessary to send a MIDI CC message to guarantee bypass is turned off. I've created a new instant action that sends a MIDI CC. Set the MIDI channel of your device. For the Strymon Timeline and Big Sky, CC 102 corresponds to bypass. A value of 0 sets it to bypass, and 127 engages the effect. I'll create another one for the Big Sky on MIDI channel 3. Here's the table of CC commands from the Strymon Big Sky manual. CC stands for Continuous Controller. MIDI devices can expose all their knobs, buttons, and other settings to be controlled by CC messages. Here you can see bypass is 102. You could, for example, also set one of the Helix's foot switches to act as the Big Sky's hold switch with CC 97. Hit Save twice to preserve your changes. Now, when the patch loads, both Strymon devices will change patch and disable bypass. Finally, foot switches can send MIDI commands as well. In the Command Center, choose a foot switch. A foot switch can send a MIDI CC message when it's pressed, but in this case, it will be more useful to have it toggle a MIDI CC between two values. Set the command to CC toggle, the MIDI channel to the channel of your device, and the CC number to the continuous controller you want to control. The dim value is the value that's set when you turn the foot switch off. The lit value is the value that's set when you turn it on. In this case, a value of 127 will enable the effect. With that, the patch now sets the Powercab to the desired model, sets the timeline and Big Sky to desired patches, disables bypass on the Strymon devices, and uses a foot switch to toggle a control on a MIDI device. Now that the whole rig is configured, you can copy one or all of these commands to another patch on the Helix. To copy commands, first press the menu button and revisit the command center. Press the Action button. Choose Copy Command or Copy All Commands. Navigate to a different preset. Go back to the command center. Press the Action button. Choose Paste All Commands. Now you can modify the commands to suit the new preset. Enjoy absolute domination over your outboard MIDI gear.